Well, I mean, you're so talented. Welcome to the show, Mthandazo.
Thank you so much for having me.
I think that your music is just so catchy, but it also resonates with so many South Africans. But before we get into the 1.5 million views and all the accolades, I just want to start off with finding out the kind of child you were growing up. I mean, in that very, very small town in Gauteng province. How was that like for you?
Well, I tried almost everything. So I was that kind of child that, wanted, to be almost everything that exists in the world. Because at some point I played soccer and I believe I'd be, a professional soccer star. I believe at some point I'd be a professional pool player. I was once a dancer. So, I tried a lot of things and music happened, to just steal me completely.
It seems as if your story, though, so many can relate to. A lot of people, when we now see them on our couch, they all have so many things in common. Number one, you started singing in the school choir. Number two, related onto church, always singing esontweni. And then, of course, you started building the professional side of things thereafter. Does your musical career look very similar to that?
Yeah, it's one of those, I think that's actually the foundation, of actually finding yourself. It should start, school choir, singing at church. This is where you get to see if whether if you are, a good singer or not. But with me, it was different because in the school choir, I was the baritone type of guy. I was the tenor type of guy. I was behind. I was not, in the front.
Sopranos.
Yeah, no. And it so happened that growing up, I realized that music is my thing. And I pressed on.
I love that about you. So much so that now, almost 10 years in the game, you were a radio presenter. And how did that then shape the musician you are today?
Moving to radio, for me, I can't really say it was passion. It was a business move. I felt it would help me promote my music. So I took a chance, and it so happened that people loved me on radio, but I wasn't that passionate. I gave it a try, and it didn't work out just as I had hoped, because it didn't have much impact on my music, but rather I felt a bit trapped, and I just quit and focused, entirely on my music.
So I love the fact that now when you are doing something you've always loved, we have you now on the couch on Afternoon Express, and you're about to perform your latest song for us. But let's touch base as well with 1.5 million views, the music video for Senzeni. Talk to me about that. And what do you think people just loved so much about it? I love the message around it as well.
Okay, well, Senzeni is one song that speaks to the people, obviously, as you've mentioned. It's touching base on the spirit of hatred amongst, one another, and it's just crushing that. And I believe part of why it grew so fast is because a lot of people relate to that. A lot of people are experiencing inzondo, that they don't even know where it comes from and all that. So there's a lot of hatred roaming around. So I think it's one song that really spoke to a lot of people, and it so happened that it was dropped, at a time where almost everyone was depressed. So they were now able to listen and all that. I think that's why they were able to get it word for word.
So if we were to just touch base with some of the challenges that you've had to experience 10 years later within trying to make this thing work, and for you to be able to release now, how have you been able to leverage from the times you've fallen and gotten back up again?
My secret is prayer. That's one thing I do before I start doing anything. So for me, I believe that, God played a huge role into what I've become, because I've been rejected quite a number of times. I've lost, loved ones. People turned their backs on me, but I kept on. You know what I mean? So I think loving what I do, praying, and just believing in myself is what actually made things happen for me. You know what I mean?
So, I mean, from rags to riches and everything in between, you're also a businessman. Congratulations. I know that you've got a very exciting, juicy venture that you're dabbling into. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What inspired that move? Because, I mean, a whole lot of people aren't really going into creating juices.
Yeah. Okay, for me, Juicic was just my love for music and juice. I don't drink alcohol. So whenever I'd go clubbing, partying, or whenever I go performing, you know, I'd order juice. Or whenever they ask me about my rider, I'd say, just get me juice.
Whole lot of juice and water.
So, yeah, so these are two things that I love, you know, with my whole heart. So it made, you know, enough sense to just come up with a juice brand and call it Juicic, music and juice. You know?
Put that together and magic. Now, when it comes to thinking about a legacy, and the legacy you want to leave behind here in South Africa, years, God willing, from now, what would that be?
My wish, you know, part of my plans rather, is to create, you know, another superstar, one or two. You know what I mean? I'm just passionate about, you know, the up-and-coming talent. Part of why I started also the record label was just so I can be able to then give back to the community, because where I'm from, we do not have so many role models. It's one of those abandoned, you know, locations where not too many things are happening. So we, you know, I'm one of those who are trying to get something going for the hood. So my wish is to have, you know, a lot of superstars, even if it's not within the music sector, but I'm just passionate about, you know, the up-and-coming talent.
I love that. It's all about mentorship, inspiring, and being able to give back to the generations that are coming behind you. Well, thank you so much, Mthandazo. But you're going to be with us throughout the show, ne?
Yeah. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate it.